Hello to all and welcome on Watches TV. And following the recent watchmaking activity linked with watches and wonders among other things, well, I decided that we will come up with a series of pretty short video reports summarizing the main news. And you know us, well, we will naturally focus a little bit more on the independent brands, but don't worry, we will do our very best to cover as much as possible the rest. So therefore, not only new watches, but also a little bit of behind the scenes with some business stories. And today's video is a pretty good example of this, with the mix between the new timepiece and a bit of business controversy, as the new Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Concept Black Panther edition apparently got quite a few people going crazy, and reminds me a little bit the frenzy when the code 1159 was launched. Ah, these good old times, right? But we actually had the opportunity of seeing it in the flesh. It came here to the club. But it didn't come alone, and on a totally diametrically different approach, well, we also had the visit of the stunning and hardcore classical Royal Oak Platinum Jumbo with green dial, simply hot. Anyhow, how can this concept Black Panther be interpreted, and what does it mean? And I have to admit that I'm already really looking forward to what you guys have to say about it. What are your thoughts? Well, I have some ideas, but let's keep the constructive discussion going. So, as many of you are probably aware, AP recently announced a new partnership with Marvel Entertainment. And this watch marks the first iteration of this collaboration, where you will find a white gold hand-painted sculpture of the famous figurine encased in this new concept watch, 42mm in width compared to previous 44 and 38.5mm versions for the Royal Oak concept watches. So it comes in a sun-blasted and brushed titanium case with satin brushed inserts, holds a 3 Hz flying tourbillon with 72 hours of power reserve, is hand-wound, and in terms of finishing, well, you will find quite a variety there, giving it a very contemporary feel to it. But that's not really what the story is, right? So why did AP do this? Did they really have to? And those are very legitimate questions, but I think one should look at this with 3 different angles. I mean, the watchmaking one, and here not much to be said, the watch is extremely well executed and one would expect nothing less coming from AP. But then you have the design one, and this is, of course, quite subjective. I mean, for instance, I'm not a big fan of violet, but that's only me, and if you like this color, well, this is all fine to me. But of course, in this case, this color is not really a choice, but a constraint link with the universe of the Black Panther. But more importantly, this piece has a little gimmicky feel to it, and this is mainly where the issue is. Can a serious watch brand do this? So this leads me to this third angle, the business and marketing one. And going with all the comments seen on social media, well, there's been a lot of trashing for sure, but I think it's quite necessary to put this into perspective and take some distance. AP for sure has enjoyed tremendous success over the last few years, and this situation does give them a little bit of leeway to try things, and this new concept reflects this for me. Okay, I've seen people making the comparison to Romain Jérôme, who had made a specialty of coming with such watches. But in the scheme of all things, can you really compare? I mean, who really knows Romain Jérôme? And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful to the fallen brand, but AP's move has for sure a bigger impact, as you could witness by the press coverage around this launch. And I'm not talking little watch geeky media such as ourselves, but ones offering a tremendous exposure to a wider audience. And this can't hurt AP, and some new potential customers might say, oh well, this is cool, this is different, never knew people did this. So it shows that AP doesn't necessarily take themselves too seriously, and for such a respected brand, well, I don't see this as being a bad thing. In a certain way, it reminds me when Richard Mille came with the Bonbon collection, which I believe was quite a powerful statement by RM at the time, and there's a bit of that with this new concept, especially that we are most definitely in for some other versions in the future. I mean, the Marvel Galaxy is quite a large one. And for this edition alone, we're talking of a limited edition of 250 pieces priced at 150,000 Swiss francs and sold in AP boutiques, so quite easy to do the math there. And though some could say that 250 pieces is quite a lot, well, I'm pretty sure they will manage to sell at least most of them, especially that the hand-engraved, unique version was put on auction for a charitable cause, and this piece reached a staggering price of $5.2 million. I mean, that's a lot of money, actually the most and by far for any AP watch, and this simply accentuates the hotness of the brand, even though we don't necessarily know all the details behind this. But in terms of communication, well, it's definitely occupying space and sends a very reassuring signal. So to summarize things, do I personally like this watch? Well, not really my kind of thing. Do I think it's well made? Well, for sure. Did AP take a risky decision doing this? Well, I doubt. Okay, might shock purists, but ultimately won't hurt them at all and opens up the brand to a new audience. Could a group company watch brand take the same risk/decision? Well, most certainly not. Is it fun? Well, yes, and we need a bit of fun here and there, especially that more or less at the same time, AP introduced a special full platinum green dial jumbo Royal Oak, and you couldn't find yourself so diametrically opposed to all we just discussed, and I like this dichotomy. So this watch is pure Royal Oak. It feels heavy, it feels serious and rigorous, and we already know that even at 100,000 Swiss franc a pop, well, they will sell like crazy, and the tough call now for AP is how to allocate them to people that will actually enjoy these watches and not simply flip them around. Okay, this is it for the video of the day. Really looking forward to your comments. I think I will have a good time reading this. And just for info, I mean, those were not the only 2 watches presented by AP. There were plenty of other ones, which I hope we'll soon be able to come back to. For instance, and listen to this, well, I really want to see in the flesh one of the new Code 1159. You see? Anyhow, thanks for watching, thanks for the interaction, and Viva Jumbo Watchmaking! See you soon.